that was explosive. Like that's what made shit what it was. I think for me, like post Austin, you know what I mean? Like Cena was the guy, bro. Like at that time in 03.
Yeah, just so y'all know, we live too.
Yeah, I got you, brother. Sorry.
Oh, what up?
Oh yeah. We going back to the old BGW way of just starting the show without anybody's knowledge.
It's like, yo, say nothing crazy because we are live. We'll do it live.
It was a sweet science we would do because, see, I know a lot of people, they'll start their podcast, they'll do like the pre-production, you know what I mean? See how you doing, you know, what are we talking about? The way we used to do it is we would just get in there, we would just start talking trash about everything and everybody. And you have to catch it at the right moment because somebody will always say something that's a perfect way to start the show. And usually that was DMac. So
yeah,
we going back
sense too. That lines up.
I'm hoping he'll hop on. But gentlemen, before we do the intro, you know, we start off question of the week, right? And we're gonna talk about it a little bit later once we do the once everybody comes in. But today, 316 day, Stone Cold Day, magnificent day. My question to you is: have you ever had a Steve Austin moment where you were about to whoop your boss's ass?
Oh man. Where do you want me to start? Since I started working.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, that sounds like as soon as I got the employment papers and you're clear to work, it's like, fam, who is this guy talking to right now, man? Yo, off top of my head, I will say this. Boss, I can't think of a specific story, but I also think of like the Stooges and like just the different minions that are around. Sometimes it spills out into the crowd with Austin, whatever. I remember I was working as security at Target, like top flight security of the world, Craig, at Target while I was in high school. And this was when the Nintendo Wii's came out, the first one. And I remember I had to get there super early that morning. People are lined up around the building. It looked like, you know, a sneaker drop or something like that. And we had a limited amount, but we hadn't really coordinated exactly how we're supposed to maneuver these lines and usher people this way or that way. So anyway, I'm security, right? So I'm supposed to be like managing this whole situation. And I'm 18 years old, by the way. What am I really managing? You know what I mean? Might have been 17. I don't even remember. I remember at some point, I told the entire crowd to just shut the fuck up or nobody's getting a Wii. This is about 8 o'clock in the morning right now. Thanksgiving season. I think it dropped right around Black Friday, one of them vibes. And nobody's getting. And then I got called into the manager's office at that point. You know, you can't speak to the customers like that. Well, nobody, you know, so it got crazy. The other one I remember was I had already put my notice in. So this is not it. I'm not security anymore, by the way. Now I'm just like regular red shirt, and I'm in the electronics department. I had already put my notice in. I'm not going to be here too much longer. And I remember very specifically some customer really got tight because we didn't have something in stock. She was looking for a DVD, right? We didn't have the DVD in stock. So she's now like talking to me as if I did something personally. I told her to go fuck herself very loudly in the DVD aisle.
Respect.
You know, and then she was like, you can't talk. So I called management on the walk. And management comes over. I'm like, I just wanted you to come here so I could tell you that I told her to fuck herself because we don't have the DVD. That's kind of, you know, I left Target shortly thereafter.
That's definitely a Stone Cold.
That was Baker 316. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we don't have that DVD.
Yeah.
Shoot, mine was it was the day I got fired from JCPenney. I'll never forget it. So I got fired because I was stealing time, right? Truthfully,
allegedly.
Oh no, I was that. It was 100%. I was stealing time. I appreciate it, but it was. I left work so many times to go home and then come back and not clock out. Yeah, so they called me into the office, and there was the guy who was running. I was doing loss prevention at the time, So there was a guy who was the head of loss prevention, and then there was the store manager. And the dude who was doing loss prevention, he was just like, damn, we got to let you go. I'm like, that's fine. That's no problem. But it was the manager, and me and him have been having problems since he became a manager. And I remember him looking at me. He was like, I'm extremely disappointed in you. And I was like, I don't give a fuck what you think, sir. Fuck you. Like, I hate you. Like, I hate you because I always thought he was racist. So he was an Italian cat. And so he leans back in his chair. And so I stand up. And like when I stood up, he was like, whoa. I was like, if I was gonna hit you, you would have thought so by now. And I grabbed my bag and I left.
Yeah.
It's one of them.
Yeah. It was a good moment. It was a good moment.
I got one for y'all for my first full-time gig. I was a pretty much like a cook and like utility and hall cleaner for Villanova University's dining service. Villanova University is an illustrious Augustinian Catholic university. Some of you may know it through, Villanova Wildcat basketball. However, really, hoity-toity school, you know what I mean? $60,000 tuition point, the whole nine. I'm this kid, Catholic school, high school kid, baseball player, going to get a job up at Villanova University's dining services through my uncle. You know what I mean? Because he was up there for years. He put in about like 10 years in up there. Villanova Dining Services is ran like a military. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is that it's like multiple tiers of different levels and just all types of stuff, right? Trying to serve this huge student body. Now, serving a football team, basketball team, seeing all of the sexy parts of the campus and all of that. But, pretty cool gig, but a lot of managers, about like 8 managers right now. That was this one particular manager, Al Bernstein, who was like this old guy. He really should have been retired. It's just like, you stealing money now. Like, you could have been peeled off and got your pension, but you just want to like still be on the plantation. However, most of us that was on this job working were black immigrant folks. Only a couple white, like Italian guys that's, was good cooks, pizza makers, things like that. But there was this one situation, coming up as a kid, I was a diabetic, pre-diabetic type 2. I used to always have to like check my blood sugar, eat certain things. I used to pass out in school, all types of goofy shit, passing out on the baseball field. Long story short, I'm at work, I'm cleaning some dishes, but I feel lightheaded. Now, we always had, free range to go get food and things like that on lunch break. But I took it upon myself as a 17-year-old kid. I'm like, I'm about to go like get some fries or something, some tea. Like I'm about to pass out. Now this is like rush hour on a Saturday, like before like party time. Like, and my hall that I worked at Villanova was the biggest hall, right? But there was a point in which I got the fries, right? Went on the line, got fries, took my apron and everything off. It came back in the locker room, shout out to locker room lead. Came back to the locker room where we, changing everything at, and I'm eating the fries and the tea. Now, granted, it's other guys in there getting ready for their shift. So it's kind of like some camaraderie going on, like workers is talking. It's all good. It's not really nothing that's really like pertinent to really be doing for like everybody to be on the floor. So I'm this kid in the locker room just eating my fries. As soon as this manager Al comes in, now he's this old white guy. He can barely like turn his neck like this. Like I said, he should have been retired. Long story short, when he came in, everybody like darts out of the locker room. This is like my second month on the job. Everybody darts out. So when he did, because everybody's been nice and welcoming since I've been there, like manager wise, you know what I mean? But with this guy, probably my second shift with him, you know what I mean? Like, so when he comes in, everybody darts out and he looks at me like, what the hell are you doing in here eating? I'm like my blood sugar low, man. Like I gotta sit down and eat something. Like I can't like be on the floor right now. It's like, this motherfucker told me, he said he don't give a fuck about my blood sugar. So I stood up, I said, you better give a fuck about my blood sugar, because my blood sugar is what makes me a valuable worker for y'all. So if I'm not able to work, if I'm not able to be on the floor and feel good and feel healthy as a human fucking being, I can't work right now. Let me take a beat, get a couple of bites, get a couple of sips of tea, get some sugar back in me, get some energy, so I can finish my shift. What the fuck is your problem? You know what I mean? Like, and I end up saying some shit about his neck. I make sure he won't move it no more, some shit, and I got written up. You know what I mean? Like, so I was a little bit, I was flying off of the handle at that time as a young person. But yeah, all in all, that was my Austin moment. He was shook. He couldn't believe it. He told another manager on me that really was cool with me. So we kind of like patched it up. But he was racist and all that other goofy shit, which is why he had the energy he had towards all of the guys, and which is why the guys ran out of the locker room, because they didn't like want to get caught, and they was pretty loud and boisterous at that moment. So I guess that they didn't want to get written up depending on what their situation was. But yeah, man, that was like my initial jaunt for sure.
When you talk about somebody's neck, that's a death blow.
Yeah.
He
very often
told him. He probably went and told him, man, I felt threatened for my life. He threatened my remaining years left.
Yeah.
He's probably went back to the crib, started rubbing it like,
yeah, he juiced that up.
Net looking crazy. Yeah. Nah, this is how the workforce is supposed to be. If you're not acting like Steve Austin, what are you really doing? And with that being said, let's start the show.
Real trap shit.
This is the peak of professional wrestling. I love it.
Once again, you're tuned in to the BG Dub. What up? Hit the subscribe button and pour a cup. We back up soon as Scotty beams. Kyler and Noble conversation served with a side of collard greens. Nolo's the biggest heel in the photo. D-Mac and Chaz shooting hard from the logo. And off the top rope, starting that guard from a locker room in Philly, they got low. Black guy, BG Dub, throw it up, yo. Wolfpack, throw it up, yo. Sunday night's main event, and we live with it. And this is where we hit the logo.
Got some crappy shoes on. It's never ironed. The shirt is too small. The shitty scarf and the terrible ass haircut. And you think that you're better than Worm? Give me a break.
We are live. Is this the first time you've been on the show since the new intro, AL?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Snap, man. We should have done a live performance.
Hey, let me know. We can do the in-studio series anytime.
By the way, man, shout out to my man JC. What's going on, bro? What's going on? D-Mac in the building too.
What's up, man? I need to wear that, man. I ain't got no haircut. What's happening?
Oh, that's
Peace, brother.
What's happening?
Oh, damn, everybody coming on time. All right. Maybe.
I would have been more on time, but my dad was calling me. Man.
You know what?
That's important, bro.
Yeah, we kind of got a full house right now, but I feel something incoming in the next half an hour or so.
Oh, God. That's even worse.
No, from you.
Oh, yeah. Well, while everybody gets set up, welcome everybody to the 196th volume of the Black Guy Wrestling Podcast, the highest level of conversation here in professional wrestling. Let's not even waste no time. We got some good vibes going on. We got some good people up in here. Coming in first, it is Scotland Underwood.
Second, and I'm coming in second and came in the wreck shit. It's your boy that's never late for the party. They're always about to get this started. You know what I'm saying? The ones that always let their wings flat and their asses real fat. You know what I'm saying? D-Mac motherfucking Tardy, man. What's happening?
Whoa.
My God. Oh, shit. What up? There we go. Now we up. Who coming in third?
Come on, Chaz.
I think Chaz froze.
Chaz Rose.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, bet. Let's get it. You already know who it is, man. The fifth chair. And coming in third for bgwpod, it is your man, Stoned Low Pierce, AJ Styles P, all of those good things. And I always overcharge, always, for what they did to the Cold Crush and Too Cold Scorpio. Happy 316 squad. Welcome to 196.
Chaz will be coming back a little bit later. I think he's getting some technical issues. But, of course, we do not do guests on this podcast. We do co-hosts. And today's co-host is a longtime frequent collaborator here on the BGW podcast. You've heard his voice many a times on the intros, on the podcast. This man is doing it from New York to London, from London to wherever, you know what I mean? And today's the official drop. Everything is wrestling, leather, trucker hats on pardonmyfresh.com. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a series legend in the building. They call that man A.O. Baker. What is going on? Welcome back, my brother.
Man, peace to the guys. Happy 316 day for all of the above. On me, man. A.O. Baker, part of my fresh representative, Ringside Club representative, and I'm just happy to be here, man.
Thank you for coming by, bro. You know what I mean? It's been a long time since you've been on the set too, man.
It's been a minute. Yeah, it's been a little bit. Sometime like third quarter last year ish,
Yeah.
right around that time. Yeah.
While Chaz is I think getting his stuff set up, of course, as you can see, there's 5 of us outside of the member that has been currently fired, Nolo. So
Yeah,
we don't really got to speak. Yeah, we really don't need to speak about his presence on this show. If he shows up, yeah, if he shows up.
Surprised you even brought that nigga up.
You remember when
what happened?
You remember when Austin? You remember when
nigga.
Austin walked out on the company and they did that?
Dropped the ball.
Yeah,
all the way home.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Got him the F out.
Yeah. Chaz, what's up, baby? How are you doing, man?
I'm here.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine. That's
I'm
fine.
Here. And I'm gonna give y'all a Jordan performance when he had that bad pizza. You know what I'm saying? So he still put up 30 plus. So that's what I'm gonna do. You know what I mean?
Hey, look, man.
Bro, good to see you, man. No, the beard is flourishing, man. So you know.
I appreciate you, Ayo. Always, man. Always good to see you, brother.
Yeah, man. This is sponsored by Beijing. You're
nah, never that.
That's a full healthy joint.
Yeah,
I don't need a healthy joint.
Yeah, I don't need that on my jacket at all, bro.
I'm just hating because I can't grow no beard like them niggas, man. Hey, I never could grow a fucking beard. Fuck.
My man G-Rod, what's going on? So, of course, we got a lot of graps to talk about. But AOs, like I said, it's been a long time since you've been on the block, man. What has been new in your world, man? Like I said, a lot of great things has been happening. You know what I mean? Ringside Club is doing phenomenal. And like I said, part of my fresh, the new hat dropped today, man. Talk to us. What's been happening?
It's a lot. What are we in March right now? If I could just start like at the top of like how I started the year, it's just been one really good thing after another, professionally, for real. So January, I started out. I flew to London. I think the second week in January, something like that. Flew to London to shoot a commercial that I helped to come up with the concept and idea for, and then wrote. So I shot that while I was out there. I was named one of the 60 or so creatives to watch in 2025 by Ad Age, which is basically like one of the 2 or 3 leading advertising trade magazines and publications. So that dropped the day before we shot the commercial. And then fast forward in a little bit, this week that commercial dropped, so it's moving around in the UK area right now and very well received. There's some other work that's moving around for another company that I might be under an NDA, but I don't know. So I can't talk about, but it is good work. And then, you know, just with what's happening, like we over at the Ringside Club, we're in our PG era, and that's been well received so far. Like we're a kinder, gentler version of the Ringside Club, but that's moving well. There'll be some new signature move shows starting this week that are going to be coming out as well. Back on the Ringside Club channel instead of dividing and conquering. We're just gonna Voltron that up. But then speaking about part of my fresh, so you know, not to go too in depth because we can probably talk a little bit in general about it, but like the idea for doing this hat really can be started back in 2017. I just noticed like all of the wrestling merch sites were t-shirt and hoodie focused. You know, all of the fly designs were on the shirts. All of the designers that were working on those were focused on shirts. And if you looked at hats, maybe it says accessories. You know, there's a little drop down where it's also in there with like wristbands and stickers and stuff. You know, so in 2017, I bought the domain name ProWrestlingHats.com and I just parked it. I knew I wanted to do something. I was already making hats with part of my fresh, but I didn't know exactly how I wanted to line it up. And then, of course, life gets in the way. You do this, you do that. But I never let it go. I parked it. I put it to the side. That hat that the good sir Lo has on came out last year. And that was a new manufacturing partner. And I was very happy from top to bottom with the whole process of putting that hat together, picking the materials. Everything was custom. Like I picked every little small detail about that hat, and the price was amazing. My account person and the entire process was just great. So I said, this is the time right now. That wide pink, man. This is the time right now to take this idea that I've been sitting on and kind of bring it to fruition. And what I wanted to do, this Everything is Pro Wrestling hat is the first in what I hope to be just an ongoing, growing collection called the Wrestle Hats collection by Part of My Fresh, where it's just like, you know, hats for wrestling fans made by a wrestling fan, but just not merch. It's product. You know what I mean? It's really meticulously, every piece is really picked out. There's an idea behind each of these hats. So just in general, like the reason why I went with the trucker hat was if you look at any of those old 1970s, 1980s, you know, those in Pro Wrestling Illustrated and The Wrestler and all those black and whites, people in the stands are wearing trucker hats. Wrestlers themselves are wearing trucker hats. You see Matt with Dusty Rhodes, for example. Those T-shirts, the American Dream Dusty Rhodes shirts that KO just parodied with the Canadian Dream. This is that exact font, Cooper Black, that exact design. So it's like a homage to pro wrestling culture. This is synonymous with pro wrestling. But then I just leveled it up. Like it's still a trucker hat. It's still that classic mesh in the back.
I see the embroidery right there. Yes, sir.
Yeah, 3D embroidery there. Flat foot is pro wrestling. But this is leather. You know, it's that classic mesh in the back, but there's a really lightweight leather on the brim and on the front. And it just came out beautiful. And then, of course, like, you know, the quality, the piece is Part of My Fresh on the back, Part of My Fresh on the inside. I'll just show you. You know, so this is all like from the bottom to the top, just really, really well put together, and I'm very happy with it. And you know, I just hope that, you know, the people that ordered, once they received, they're as happy with it as I was putting it together. But yeah, that's the general gist, man. It just dropped today. It's at WrestleHats.com. You can go to ProWrestlingHats.com. That takes you to the same place, PartOfMyFresh.com. Any of those URLs will take you exactly where you need to go. If anybody needs to split those payments, that is, of course, possible as well. $17.50 a piece. You know what I mean? But yeah, this is my love letter, so to speak, to pro wrestling. You know what I mean? Because if this grows the way that I imagine and hope, and I'm going to work towards it growing, this can be something where I take some money from this and it goes to Cauliflower Alley Club. I could take some money from this, and when a situation like Chris Bay happens, that some of the proceeds can go in that direction. You know, these people that we're entertained by are also human beings, and I would love to be a part of just kind of putting that back into the culture and the quality of living that I hope everybody was going to be able to have in their older and later years and all that. So, but yeah, that's my spiel, man.
Damn, you're doing fantastic work out here, bro. You're doing you inspire me to be a better person every day.
Hey, man, I don't know. I'll just be doing shit, bro.
I will say this though, man. Like, I think this is really key, Ayo. And again, just thank you for just like your presence. I also think that, you know, everything you got going on the advertising side of things right now is really dope. Just being in that space. So, just really want to commend you on that, man. I really admire that, and you know, we can definitely talk further. However,
absolutely,
you know, when I did purchase this one, I know that there was a lot of like you said, like the meticulousness put into it. But you know, and I waited because I know that, you know, we were going to talk to you this weekend. You know, my order is now up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if people can see that, but like, you know, just to let you know what I mean? Like, I waited to put my order in because I don't have it now. I wish I did have it for this episode, but I will be wearing mine. Yeah, I mean, I got that 2-day. I will be wearing mine to Dynasty. That's when I'm gonna break it out. You know what I mean? Take it off the ice. In the next couple of weeks, April 6th in down North Philly. But yeah, man, just everything as far as like the lineage of pro wrestling apparel, everything goes into this product. And me as being like a hat person, sort of like hat first is like the first thing I think about, like as far as like an outfit goes most of the time, instead of like sneakers or a shirt. And you know, a lot of that coming from like the baseball space and kind of be, you know, kind of obsessed with like baseball apparel and things like that. Like the fact that there's such a lineage of pro wrestling in this when it comes to the actual product, you know what I mean? Like you said, like the Dusty Truckers and everything like that, like kind of like that 80s feel to it, you know what I mean? Like I just appreciate your care for your community through these products, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm gonna leave it at, but thank you, brother. I'm putting in my order right now, man. So just thank you for everything you're doing.
I appreciate that, man.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And
man,
like
I was trying to put my order in earlier, but my phone kept messing up, and I was like, you know what? That's a sign that I need to get it a little later. So it's happening. It's happening. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? Like we, you know, you've supported us. We support you forever. So yeah, bro. You have a you have an eye for the visuals, and I think that's the perfect thing, man. Like I said, the hats are visually beautiful. You know what I mean? Like they're simple, simplistic, but like I said, like you said, they speak to the wrestling fan. Like who doesn't love a good trucker hat? You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
that's perfect. You know, what
I
mean?
remember like look at how hot they got like when Pharrell was wearing those damn, what was the name of that brand? And I just saw that they're still putting something out too. I can't think of it right now, but like right around that late 90s era when they were still wearing baggy, but he starts coming with the truckers, Von 100%, them Von Dutch hats. Like who did not have a few of them when those were really moving around? You know what I mean? Like a good trucker is a good trucker. You know, like those are just fly hats, man.
Man,
you know,
those
especially
hats
during like when the weather's nice and you get that little. I'm bald, bro. So when the breeze comes from the back, that's amazing, bro. The roof is off, man.
Functionality.
Exactly,
Right?
exactly. You know what I mean? And then like that phrase, I just think everything is pro wrestling. In our community, we know what that is. When you look outside of wrestling and you see something that's clearly a work, we already like look at the election. Look at Tyson versus Paul. You know, matter of fact, sidebar, I'm gonna hit y'all on the iMessage. I got a track. There is a song associated with this whole everything is pro wrestling that just wasn't completely done in time for the drop, but I will be dropping it fairly soon. But I'm gonna just send it to y'all so y'all have it. But in there, and then also related to Steve Austin later on, there's a nice little segue in there related to that. But Tyson versus Paul is the perfect example of everything is pro wrestling. That was a boxing match where a legendary boxer clearly started pulling punches at some point, because if he didn't, that was gonna mess the money up. But brother, we got him. Look at the numbers they did for Netflix. It's wrestling, man. Everybody's trying to sell you something, man. And if they got to pull the wool up, what you think that is?
That's a good point.
That's the beautiful thing about that's the beautiful thing. Everything that you do, even in your everyday life, is everyday. Everything is pro wrestling.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, have you ever just gone through the day? You seen somebody just like going off? They cutting a promo. Everything is pro. Everything is pro wrestling, man.
Yeah.
But luckily we got a lot of topics to talk about tonight. But before we get there, you know, we got to go through the lineups of the week. Obviously, big thing happened Monday night, Madison Square Garden. Somebody has some background noise. I don't know who it is, but I can hear like some crackling going on. But Madison Square Garden, Monday Night Raw. I thought the show was trash up until the main event, right? But the main event's really what you got to talk about. Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, cage match. You know, I mean, we now setting up potentially the main event for night one at WrestleMania. So let's start with DMac. How did you feel at the end of Raw, seeing Roman Reigns beat the dog shit out of Seth Rollins and seeing Paul Heyman pretty much coddle CM Punk, and that resulted in an ass whooping for him too?
Man, you know how I feel about triple threat matches, man. I was excited because we seen the lead up to, you know, I really thought the Seth and Punk match was going to be a WrestleMania match. But in the back of my mind, you know, I don't know if I had texted to the group. I was about to text it to y'all, like, where Roman at? You can't have WrestleMania without Roman. Then we saw he don't want to be called a big dog no more. But we seen Roman, the tribal chief, come through and, you know, make his mark. You know, no pun intended. And seeing, you know, to answer your question, seeing him, Paul Heyman coddle CM Punk, it was intriguing. It was very intriguing to see, you know, what can happen next. What can happen next with this storyline, because it's a very complex story with, you know, CM Punk being an open Paul Heyman guy, and WWE doing a great job with having long-time story build. You know, CM Punk was legit a Paul Heyman guy, because when they did the induction of the WWE version of ECW, CM Punk was the guy over there. So now we see, Paul Heyman, being the tribal chief, is wise man. Is very intriguing to see, how he's gonna play into the mix with this. Who's gonna win the match? It's hard to see right now with the outlier being Seth Rollins, because as a wrestling fan, not even a wrestling fan, as a casual person, not even somebody that's a casual fan of any sport, you want to see the underdog win. Right now, you got Seth Rollins being that because he don't have anybody backing him. His back against the wall. And he preached on how he's trying to make all his wrongdoings right. But he has to face through two of the people that he did. One, he legit admitted, hey, I messed up on this. Like, I'm right. But you, motherfucker, CM Punk, not so much. You know what I'm saying? So it's very intriguing to see, man. Even though I'm not a fan of, triangle matches, I'm gonna bring that up. I'm gonna say that right there. Triangle matches. I want to see, what's going to transpire. So they got me. I'm hooked.
This does main event night one, right?
No.
I think Jay Uso and Gunther probably does main event because the end scene of everybody, with their arms up and down is the perfect way to end, just on that up vibe, that feel good moment. And to be fair, think about, like, they're probably going to bring them out, for some kind of just segment just to have everybody do that again on night two. So I would say like Uso versus Gunther probably just for the ending of everybody, like the parties. That's the perfect, party, before the after party is everybody with their hands up and down.
Ooh, Lo, what you got for me, man?
Yeah, I think I agree with Ayo on this one. Definitely, even thinking about where placement might be for Mania. But to kind of touch on the segment in and of itself, I really appreciate the fact that we got a Roman return, like the way that this return was supposed to happen. Everything that's been happening on WWE television has been really finely detailed. In him, the way it was shot, for those of us that was not at the Garden, but I love the way it was shot. He just gets yoked up by Roman. No music, no dramatic drums, no choral vocals, just straight up like it's on site. Because everything that happened in Indy, that was fucked up. Like, I really appreciate, and like, shout out to Maven. I've been popping into Maven's channel a little bit every now and then. I recently watched this video. You dig what I'm saying? I recently watched this video about the Royal Rumble and his inside knowledge on how the Royal Rumble is built. And so when I'm looking at this year's Rumble, I'm like, yo, whenever they was booking these cluster fucks of eliminations that we saw, right, when Punk eliminated both Roman and Seth, and then we get Logan fucking Paul. You dig what I'm saying? Like that writing right there was very like risky, but like the payoff for that in this segment was amazing. You know what I mean? Like, and you got Roman in the new brick by brick Air Jordan 4s that Nigel Sylvester designed. Very topical, very in the moment, New York City. Like, I just thought this was a great television moment leading up to like, if this, like, whatever we about to see at Mania with these guys, like, this was perfect. You know what I mean? But I really appreciated like not hearing Roman's music and just shit being on site. You know what I mean? Unlike SummerSlam, you did what I'm saying. Like, it was on site, and that's what I appreciated about it.
Yeah, but before I get Chaz's opinion, I want to say something about Maven real quick. Because you see how successful Maven's YouTube channel is. And I want to know, when was it determined that Maven is like our go-to guy for like backstage wrestling? And like, you brought up Maven talking about the Royal Rumble. Maven was only in 2 Rumbles.
Yeah,
two. Like, it's not like, and Maven hasn't been in the company since 2005. So it's not like Maven has like these deep insight to like, what they currently do. He's still on the Pat Patterson booking.
Yeah.
So when did Maven become the guy?
Listen, who did Maven eliminate?
He did. He eliminated. Yeah, that's true.
That follows you through the years.
I still see that clip every once in a while.
Come
that
on,
drop kick, and then the look on Mark's face.
That was a moment.
He turns around. Yeah. I still see that clip pop up. So if you're only gonna be in two rumbles, like that's the way to make a mark, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, we got to get Maven on the show because I got questions.
Yeah, we got to figure something out.
Yeah,
I seen
Maven on the locker room lead. Come on.
Oh man, I've seen enough, man. Like, let's figure something out, man. All of that. Maven, he getting Vlad interviews.
Oh, he did get a Vlad.
Maven was on Vlad.
He was. He was.
Yo, I need to look up when the last time he talked to Chris Van Vliet because this shit is getting crazy. Like now he's. Like, come on, bro. Like this shit. I mean, New Jack was talking to Vlad too. Yeah, I mean, rest in peace before, but like Maven getting Vlad is kind of interesting.
That's just a wild combination of names, bro. Maven and Vlad. Like what? What are we doing? Who booked that? Who brought Maven to Vlad's attention?
Shoot, look, Maven, I can say, hey, I got somebody you should probably want to talk to. But you got Maven, who's inspired. I think Devon Dudley has a YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's similar to Maven shit.
Eugene has a YouTube channel. Like,
the Eugene channel, crazy. Yeah,
it is.
It's going down right now, bro.
Let's get Luther Reigns while we at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's really lock in with the ruthless aggression guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a time, bro.
That was a time.
Yeah,
Chaz. What do you think about this whole this potential main event situation going on? Most importantly, when do you see this now being when the favor now gets called out?
So I'm starting to believe this favor is a long-term deal, and meaning like probably next WrestleMania, if we're being honest. It was never in the cards to say that the favor needed to be cashed in now or whatever the case may be. It was just kind of like predetermined to say like, hey, we know this favor is happening, right? So we know it's in the pocket. We know it's around the corner. And the way we've kind of been seeing the landscape, the arc of what's been going on, it seems like they're pushing towards making these magical moments. I mean, in and out. Big pops. And so for me, it's like, all right, the cards are already set. The main event's the main event. It's not changing. So I had to already accept like, all right, this favor is gonna be humongous. And if we all know how CM Phil goes, he lives for that shit. He lives for the moments. He lives for recreating that magic. So listen, I'm two of the biggest things y'all know about me I love when it comes to this rap shit is violence and shenanigans. You know what I'm saying? So I need both when it comes to this favor. I need this shit to be catastrophic. I need a whole, it got to be a grand slam. Just like the Cena Hill turn, there's got to be a grand slam because you have the components in it. Paul Heyman, CM Punk, Roman. You have these major components, so it has to be huge. So I don't see it happening. Now, again, they've been pivoting. That's what we've been seeing. So we'll see what happens. I'm good with not knowing. I've grown into this space where I'm like, I don't want to figure out shit. I don't want to look at dirt sheets. I don't want to look at who people are. I like being surprised. I enjoy being like just shocked. That shit brings out the inner kid in me. That shit makes me get up in my house and run around like I got Tourette syndromes or something. Like I enjoy that type of shit, bruh. So yeah, I think it's long term. It might be next year. I will say it has to be Punk has the main event. I just feel like you got a main event with this favor. You've been asking for this shit for years. One of the reasons you left, one of the reasons you was talking shit, because you didn't get to a main event, which I get. You're Punk. You've earned that spot. Whether it was timing, whether it was, who was leading the charge, we'll never know. But you've earned that. So this has to be a main event. Whether you have to win or not, that we'll see what happens. But I see that if you're gonna cash in this favor, you got a main event at Mania.
The thing I like about this this particular build to Mania for all across pretty much the big match is that there's a theme of desperation taking place in each match, right? Cena's desperate for 17. Both, if you look at all three of Roman, Punk, and Seth, they're desperate for different things, right? You now look at Bianca, Io, Rhea. They're desperate. Charlotte, Tiffany, everybody has a desperation. Jay, desperate to be the world champ. Gunther, desperate to restore order to what he thinks is losing. I'm not ruling out the potential that between Roman, Seth, and Punk, that one of them is not aligned with The Rock. Like, I see there's something that's like brewing. And I would honestly, I know we're kind of factoring on, like, we have talked about Punk, we've talked about Roman, but what if the possibility that is Seth? Because I feel like Seth has the most to lose and everything to gain in this match, right? He would be my prediction to win the match, just because I feel like he needs it more than Punk and Roman do. And like I'm going completely all the way with this idea, right? But if you remember in the Elimination Chamber, the final three was Punk, Seth, Cena, right? Who was the person that stopped? Who it was? Punk or no? Seth stopped somebody. Was it Cena? And he was like, "I need this." Can't remember. But anyway, if you remember, it was Seth hitting the curb stomp on Punk, which was then Cena's time to capitalize on that. I don't think that was a coincidence. You know what I mean? Because in order for the plan to go together, somebody had to do it. So I just feel like Seth made a deal with the devil. He's done it before. This is not the first time Seth has lowballed somebody in an attempt to be a bigger star and a bigger name. And why not do it and kill two birds with one stone?
Shenanigans and negativity.
That's all you need. Look, I don't want nobody being happy at this WrestleMania. I want sadness. You know what I mean? Like, I want Jey Uso to lose. You know what I mean? Because I want to see people sad.
I ain't with you on that shit.
Yo, that's the you can hear the pin drop moment if Gunther retains, bro. Especially if that's the main event. If it's not the main event, they could go the other way, but still, like, what happens with Jey Uso on Monday? It's over. It's over for him if he doesn't win. Man. My mind immediately went to where your mind went at the Chamber. Because think about the way that the order that the matches was set up. The main event slot was technically will Cody join The Rock or not. What was the guarantee that John Cena was going to win that match? Right? There was nobody outside of what happened with Seth in the Chamber that was there to actually help Cena and make sure he won that match. So I immediately thought, okay, Rock got deals with more than one person. You know, depending on who that person was who he was going to stand next to, and I play my cards however I play them when I need to. But there was more than one person. I thought Seth immediately is like, all right, Seth, and then the other part is like Seth is just on his vendetta where he has beef with Roman. I'm gonna get you out of here. I got beef with CM Punk. I'm gonna get you out of here. He's trying to take these people out. That also could be by word of The Rock. I need you to get rid of him. I need you to get rid of this person. Yeah, y'all got your own little situation, but they're bad for business. You know, like Roman Reigns is bad for business because although he's my cousin, we're not on the same page anymore. He could be jamming up what I got going on. You know. So there was no guarantee really that besides Seth Rollins that Cena was going to win that match at that point. So Rock has deals with more than one person for sure.
And to even go back to the Elimination Chamber, bro, like I can understand Steph trying to get CM Punk out of there, but I'm still trying to figure out like why he was so relentless on Roman, why he was so key in on, you know, curse stopping. Like Roman trying to get him out of that's the biggest outlier into this whole plan that like what you guys are saying. Like if Roman there, like we screwed pretty much. But if we could get him totally out the picture, you know, we can this plan can flourish. So yeah, I'm picking up what y'all putting down for sure. For sure.
So are you saying like, do you see this leading to I guess every generation has it, but do you see this leading into some sort of new corporation type deal for this generation?
I think it's already lined up that way. Yeah, it might not be like we see the suits. Like McMahon was on TV every week. Rock's not going to be on TV every week, but his presence, or at least what he set up, his entity that he's building, I think that's understood. I can also see, like, if he's not there every week, who's going to be the person that kind of does the day-to-day running of the Rock's business? Who is that person? Like, my mind goes in so many different directions, whether it makes sense or not. Like Heyman, for example, has always been a guy that's been more on the evil side of things than the good side of things. Right now he's with Roman, but again, because Roman and Rock aren't aligned, Rock could just, hey, I need you to go over here and do what I tell you to do, or the checks stop. Somebody's gonna have to actually run the day-to-day. But to answer your question, yeah, I think he's putting his plan in place. They could try to Marvel Civil War this at some point, where you got like almost like the New Blood versus the Millionaires Club WCW days. Who's leading the charge? I can see Triple H baby facing himself, and he's gonna be, Go Team, and all the young guys he's pointing to in the pictures are gonna be the people I got to take on all of the people that are doing what The Rock wants to do. Something like that.
Mm-hmm. And which could also lead us. Oh, go ahead, Matt.
Now, into caveat on what you're saying about Triple H, I was thinking too, like they got a long storied history of being competitors against one another, and if you guys like follow like the post conference, because I'm a post conference guy. Like, it don't matter what it is. It could be a Tank fight, it could be a Crawford fight, it could be WWE. Like, my old lady be pissed off because look, I ain't getting into bed until after I'm watching these goddamn post conference.
2 a.m. Shorty.
Then you can get whatever you want. Shorty, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Might have to pop a honey pack or something. But anyway, that's what we here for. But I was listening. I'm watching the post conference, and it was a little tension one time. I forgot which. I wish I could remember which pay-per-view it was. But Triple H said it goes through me. Hey, yo, what up, man? Whatever. You pop them too? Probably at the gas station pills. At least I'm truthful with mine. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, you gotta hit that honey pack with the Hennessy. Sometimes that will carry you through the night.
Pepsi challenge.
You know what I mean? My bad. But anyway, triple
that BG dub after dark, huh?
Trips was like, it goes through me. I'm this, like, he was pretty much trying to establish his dominance into, like, what I say goes. It don't, the rock here, but it's what I say, you know what I'm saying, goes. And so I think that's going to be a good underlying storyline in its own self too. It's going to be, a good nuance into the storyline, to their history too, into wrestling fans that have been following them when they both were workers in the company. Now they both professional hymns in this country. I mean, in this company. I'm sorry. And so it's good. Is good long-term storybooking. WWE.
And the last thing I want to, because I know we got to keep moving. The last thing I want to add to is that if everything kind of shakes out the way we're talking, and first and foremost, AO, another banger. That's a hell of a storyline. I like it. If everything lines up the way we're talking, I think Scott had said this one time, no matter when you book Roman versus Rock, it's going to pop. So this kind of, if everything keeps going the way, then the end goal will probably be Roman versus Rock at 42,
and that's the official retirement match, by the way. Roman gets to put Rock's head on the wall.
That whenever that match does finally happen, that has to be the end of the Bloodline storyline, the final boss, like the whole, like The Rock can now go from that point being corporate Dwayne Johnson, and you thrust him out there for the big events. But as far as the final boss, you ended at whenever that match takes place. With that being said, and this will swing over to Lo in his topic point. But tomorrow night, I believe they're in Belgium. You know what I mean? So to all the good folks wanting to watch Raw live, it will be 3 p.m. Eastern time, Netflix. But tomorrow will be the first time since Chamber we have seen John Cena. You know what I mean? A lot of intrigue. What's he looking like? What's the gear looking like? What's the music looking like? Personally, I want John Cena to come out just as he is. I don't want John Cena to change a thing. I want the same My Time Is Now. I want the bright ass colors. I want John Cena to act like nothing happened. You know what I mean?
Nah, I need that nigga.
Tony Storm.
I need that nigga in some platinum FUBU George this time, bro.
I mean, I do see that he went to Turkey and got that bald spot fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Called the plug.
Fuck it. Tell him bring out the iceberg sweater with the Snoopy on it.
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Pele. I have to say the Fat Albert FUBU,
Yeah.
Talk.
But with that being said, man, like what do you have any expectations? Or y'all just letting this like, is there anything that John Cena would do where you'd be like, damn, I'm disappointed he could have done? I genuinely think John Cena has thought this through. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see John Cena going into this like half-assing it. He's a weird dude. Like, he's a genuinely weird individual. Like, to the point to like, I'm ashamed that we hold him in high praise because that nigga is like, something's off with him. Definitely. You know what I mean? Like, if you ever looked at his Instagram?
Yes.
Nah, he's loose.
Like, that's a weird dude, man.
He's loose.
Yeah.
He's also too good. Like, even just looking at the side by side of how his facial expression changed before and after the heel turn, that's too good. You know what I mean? That's not training. That's something wrong with you, brother.
That's something in the soul.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah. That's from the heart, man.
But as another weird dude, that's probably why he followed me.
Nah. See, but that's okay. You're not weird, right? You're not weird.
Yeah, we both got that, DMac.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Y'all got a legit sociopath following y'all. I have John Cena blocked. I don't want your follow. I don't want nothing associated with John Cena. That dude is weird.
I also think he real. Like, he's watching his documentaries, he was saying that he wasn't really a fan like that. But it seemed like when he's into something, he's into it. He's really into it, bro. And so, like, to caveat on what you said about, him planning this whole thing out. And now we're seeing that the promo that he did at the post-press conference after he lost, what was it he lost?
That was that that was the Rumble.
When he lost Rumble, he was like, he was gonna be the different person. It was the different Cena that we saw. You know what I'm saying? Even to the, patching up the ball spot. I think all of this was planned out. Like, I think he sees everything, and this is going to be a very entertaining John Cena that we've never seen before.
You know what would be the ultimate thing I want if we being like all the way heel? Come in, get booed. I mean, booed. I mean, you think the shit got pumped in type booed. And it's a national crowd, so we don't need none of that. Like, boo his ass. Look around, let Cody say what he got to say, hit it with a fine speech, and walk off. That would get me going. I have no respect for you or this crowd to even give y'all attention. Fuck you. Fuck everything about you. You ain't shit. You a bitch. I see you at Mania.
Yeah, that's the end of the guy I want to see.
100%. See, even go deeper than that. Like, I agree 1,000% with that. I like when a real good heel turn at some point strips everything that you liked about that person or that character away to where there's nothing that you can get into anymore. Like, put what we think about the storyline to the side as far as like Mox, for example, but coming through the crowd with the music that everybody's singing Wild Thing and doing all that, and you're supposed to be a heel, there's a disconnect there. But slowly but surely you start stripping some of that away, and now we can't sing. It's this slow music and the same vibe. Like I remember he used to, with the water bottles, he used to write his name on it, throw it to the crowd so people could have a souvenir. I don't really think he does that too much anymore. With Cena, I would look like the jorts and all the colors go away. Like we're wrestling in tights now, bro. I might even take it back to the prototype days, where I'm putting on just something generic, so there's nothing cool about me. The music everybody wants, I want him to use this song that he did on his album. Nah, I might just come out to a snare drum. You know what I mean? I'm not talking anymore. Like he's amazing on the promo, so much so that without really wanting to, sometimes he turns the crowd on his side. Like he did Roman no favors, for example. I wouldn't talk like you was just saying, Chaz. Like I don't want to say too much to get people on my side. Nobody should agree with me at all. You don't need to know what my point of view is. You just need to know that I'm doing what I'm doing and you don't like it. I'm stripping everything cool or likable, or think about the kids. His biggest fan base are like 10 and under. I don't want these 10 and unders. I want them, all those videos of them crying. I want more. I want more of that.
Full tears, bro. Like I want
more of that.
I want these children suffering. You feel me? Like fuck your happiness. Like
I'd even go as far as to do a vignette where I take all them colors and throw them in the bin and light it like we was lighting the jersey when Braun left. You know what I mean? Like something like that. Like just it's over. The one problem with that is if he goes too far, because I don't think this is a long-term heel run, then when he tries to come back in July and he's thumbs up again, then it's like, bro, but I think he could pull it off. You know what I mean? I think he could pull it off. But I've seen like people like the ball spot. I've seen people saying he's just going to shave it all off for the role. Imagine him coming out with like he doesn't have any facial hair. So now he's just eyebrows. You know what I mean? Like he's just bald eyebrows.
I hear looking like
remember the movie Powder? It's like, yo, John, my man.
Low, man. Talk to me, man. What are you thinking?
Yeah, before we get into the particulars of my particular topic, just to touch on this, man. I almost think I feel like in my heart of hearts we're gonna get another mic drop. Like we're gonna see him, but I just feel like he probably not gonna say anything. We probably just win another mic drop.
Can I just say one thing real quick, like it pertains to that?
Yes.
The mic drop tomorrow will be so impactful, just for the simple fact we gotta remember they're in Belgium, right? Yes. Belgium don't get WWE shows like that, right?
No.
There is that potential chance that John Cena gets cheered crazy. Like there's a potential chance that happens, right? Just because like we gotta remember this is last year. This is the last time the people in Europe will ever get to see John Cena in WWE ring, right? So John Cena has to do something that is going to make the crowd like, oh shit. I want Cena to push Stu down. Like that's the first thing I want John Cena to do.
Yeah.
While the camera that we're watching, while the camera that we're watching is the one that Stu is making, and then you just see it tumble. And then they cut and he's standing over Stu.
Ceiling and lights. Yeah, and then him pop. Yeah, that
Damn, yo, my nigga Stu.
You drop the mic on the lens. Give me that. I'm out. I see
you get another cameraman to run up the Stu like
right. I thought we were cool, John.
Bro,
what I do to you?
Mic on that lens.
It's
drop
that
the mic
50
on the lens.
It's the 50. What are you saying? Fuck me for?
But that scares me too, because I was watching the Chris Van Vliet interview with Big Papa Pump, and he was saying he was trying to strip everything that everybody liked about him with the Steiner brothers, and everybody loved him for. And what's the one thing that our demographic of wrestling fans been wanting for the last 20 years? Seeing a heel Cena. So this is going to really show his chops of really if he can keep that heat on him.
Low, but my apologies, brother. Go ahead and cook.
Oh no, you good. No, this is perfect. So if anybody is familiar, real quick, just a quick like preface to what I'm about to get into. You know, because y'all just made me think about a lot with the t-shirts and the colors. If anybody's familiar with the program Breaking Bad has a spin-off prequel called Better Call Saul. I believe it was the first part of the finale where, like, you know, Saul Goodman is this really flashy character, colorful suits, colorful ties, the whole nine. There's a scene where the feds is raiding his house in the beginning of the season, actually, the season premiere, excuse me. And the feds is raiding his house, and you first time we ever got to see Saul Goodman's house, right? And you know, probably the most lavish crib in Albuquerque, right? But like you're seeing these different motifs of like him like going away. And granted, you know, in Better Call Saul, the scenes in which he escapes are in black and white, where he's living his second life when he escaped the first time. But they're showing like all of his colorful suits like just be thrown away and like the colorful ties. Like that's what I think about like in these last couple of weeks. Like I'm thinking about like the shirts, you know what I mean? The jerseys even, you know what I mean? And all of those things, like kind of just like going to black and white. I kind of think Cena's going to wear all black tomorrow. You know what I mean? I think that's probably going to be a thing. Even if we're thinking about tights, like his wrestling tights might be black. I even think he might even wrestle in like long pants. Like you know what I mean? But let's, you know, we'll see. But to get into my particular topic tonight, and if anybody is here watching tonight, and gentlemen, I want y'all to chime in on this too. Can y'all tell me what like y'all favorite, you know, and we are talking about a particular person right now, but anybody aside from that person, what is like y'all favorite like slogan in like wrestling history? WWE, what, yeah, I mean WCW. What is like the favorite thing someone has said consistently in wrestling to y'all that's like persisted throughout the years?
So this isn't consistent. I just always remember it, and it's corny as well. Depending on who you talk to, but I remember X-Pac used to say, "Your ass is grass, and I'm gonna smoke it." I thought that was the coolest shit I heard in my motherfucking life. I was like,
yeah, that was fire. Yeah,
that's pretty good. And so it was in and out. It wasn't. He didn't say it a lot. I have like pockets of moments in my head always, and that one always stuck out to me. Like, your ass is grass, and I'm gonna smoke it. And he put that out. I was like, oh man, you got a fan for life in me, Bubba.
Yeah, at the time it did hit. It definitely hit for sure.
Definitely for me, the you know, Bret Hart, best there is, best there was, best there ever will be. That always stuck with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mine was probably it was that, but I'm gonna say "Suck It."
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, "Suck It" was probably like number one. I mean, I got suspended for it. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, as simple as it is, like it's not witty at all, but like just thinking about everybody knows Austin for the bottom line joint and all of that. Yeah. And that's all I got to say about that. I think encapsulates his personality so perfect because his whole vibe was just straight to the point. Mm-hmm. So you could tell a lot of what he was saying at the time was not necessarily freestyling, but it wasn't like super pre-planned. He was going with the vibe. So that was his way of like kind of getting back on, you know, wherever he was supposed, like an anchor almost. It was an anchor line for him. It wasn't anything I don't think was ever even printed on a shirt. You know, it was just a line that I think worked really well for his character.
Yeah, always using it as a bookend. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I got two honorable mentions. One, Chris Jericho's "Happen Again." That was hard. And then, damn, what was the other one? Fuck, I can't think. I'll think of it. I had two, but definitely Chris Jericho "Again" one was one for it.
That James Storm line was hard too. Sorry.
Sorry about your damn luck.
Yeah. You know, that was
money.
That's real shit, Gerard. So where I am in all of this, right? And you know, real quick, Mac, and real quick, everybody. Do y'all know at WWE live events now, like during commercial, you know how they do like, you know, different sporting events, Kiss Cam or Flex Cam, whatever the case is. Do y'all know they have like a but they don't call it that. It's called DX Cam, but it's like a crotch chop cam. Have y'all seen this?
Yeah.
No, they haven't.
That's the first time I've noticed it when I went to SmackDown last Friday in the city. I never knew nothing about it. That's pretty cool. But it's funny that Mac,
I did see it at Raw. When I did see that Raw.
Okay, and kids is doing it,
but okay.
Say that again, Matt.
I said weird flex, but okay.
It's different.
That was a pause.
We used to get in trouble for that, and now it's a cam at a live event that like kids and families is doing together, right? 20 years later, again, these things that persist throughout wrestling, right? Kind of trying to stay on, you know, I mean, you just reminded me of something, but the reason why I asked y'all that question is, you know, I believe this John Cena thing, this time we in now, it's the most impactful thing that I think to happen in our space in some time. Now, these last 3 years in wrestling have been pretty crazy. This last half decade, to be honest, right? But this John Cena incident, you know what I mean? It's like Kendrick and Drake, right? It's everybody's talking about it. It's encapsulating a lot of content. But I'm very interested in like digging through the crate of like one John Cena's career. We was kind of having some conversations earlier, gentlemen, about 03 John Cena before we went live. To me, and at this point, and I think we're probably going to see some more of it, and it might not be used. And this is why I want to ask this question, right? It might not be used, but I really want it to in a particular way. Hopefully we see it on the screen, but I really believe that "You Can't See Me," right, is the greatest slogan in wrestling history. It's not my favorite in particular, right? I have many, right? I think the Bret Hart is my personal favorite, you know, excellence of execution, and you know what I mean, sort of, you know, and that's the thing about the Bret stuff. It's very, and you know, fuck Hogan, but it's like the Hogan stuff, right? But it feels more, it feels more, it's like it's more integrity in that shit, right? Like the best there is, the best there was, like the excellence of execution, like that, like the way those things sounds up against like vitamins and prayers, and you know what I mean? Like it's like, you know, Hogan was just being earnest, you know what I mean, as a babyface, you know what I mean, in the 80s and whatever. But here's why I am with the "You Can't See Me." "You Can't See Me," I believe John first said on the episode of Velocity. He was testing this out. He didn't say it to anyone, but he said it on the mic, right? But I believe the very first person he said "You Can't See Me" to was on the June 26, 2003 episode of SmackDown. And he says it and signals it to Orlando Jordan, right? Now, going back to a couple of years ago, I believe Cena had a late night interview. I don't know if it was one of the late night guys, right? And he was asked, it probably was Colbert, either Colbert or Conan, but either way, I believe it was Colbert. But long story short, I'll look it up. Asking the origins of "You Can't See Me," right? Shout out to our boy Ayo right here, you know what I mean, from the city. John Cena talks about how he got "You Can't See Me" from Tony Yayo, right? This is definitely probably a rerun for a lot of people watching, right? We all knew what G-Unit was about, what they were doing at that time, and all of the motifs and things, right? Now, Austin is amazing because he has certain things he says, but he also has this like changed the game, right? It, you know, just kind of like how this did, we were just talking about, but this changed the game. But this right here, along with like a slogan to go with it while you saying it, giving like an actual physical, like represent, you know what I mean? Like that's the culture. That's Tony Yayo, you know what I mean? Queens, New York, Haitian family, you know what I mean? Like Fast Times in the 80s. Like that's what he picked up from the culture, and he put that into the. But he said it to Orlando Jordan, who at the time is one of the only black wrestlers in the WWE. Now I don't know if this is like a planned thing and it's like carried all the way through, but for me, this being the first time we kind of see it on television is very significant because John Cena right before he does the face turn in 04, he's kind of playing a wigger. You know what I mean? He freestyling, you know what I mean? It got cool. He started, you know, Mitchell and Ness jerseys for every city he in. Mitchell and Ness, you know, autograph signings that I first met him at when I was a kid and whoop. But he had to. He definitely had to, absolutely. And probably every G-Unit mixtape and everything like that at that time. You know what I mean? Like, definitely probably listened to Jada and was into the Jada 50 thing and, you know, years later. But long story short, I think the culture donated a lot to Cena, right? But here's where I am with the slogan. He takes this slogan into these next couple of years. They ended up putting them on T-shirts, you know, after the fact that he's wearing jerseys. One of the very first "You Can't See Me" shirts I remember is like the one where he has a red hat on, but the shirt is also red, but he's inside of a circle doing this, right? But he has on the red hat that basically matches the same red on the shirt. One of the best designs I think I saw, and I'm like, man, like when you saw it, like, because you know what this means, right? Years later, you put it on all of the shirts, all of the editions. But then years later, as John Cena becomes a particular type of pop culture figure, "You Can't See Me" becomes it takes on a whole nother meaning. It becomes memeified to the point where it's like people are joking about John Cena being invisible. Literally the exact literal meaning of not being able to see somebody, but then taking African-American vernacular English from a black guy who said it in the rap song. Or maybe this is the thing. I don't know if Tony Ayo ever said "You can't see me," but maybe John Cena comes up with the "You can't see me" slogan by way of like this motion and just coming up with some shit. You know what I mean? Being a creative. So this ends up becoming like a meme. I also believe this becomes a battle cry for children who at the time when Cena was the face of his face doing Make-A-Wish and all of that, children kind of having You Can't See Me as this thing, as a way to build their confidence. Y'all talked about it earlier though, like, not talking about kids that are sick, but like healthy kids that are at WWE events, like these are, thousands of mini Cenas, right, crying and all of those things. But when the kids are showing up to that stadium, like they the best they ever felt putting on some Cena merch. They feel like they are Cena. They got that You Can't See Me on the back. It's on. They ready to hear them horns and they ready to see their hero. You know what I mean? I think the night in Toronto, it changes everything for right now. You know what I mean? But where I am with this is that, that particular slogan becoming like a confidence builder for kids and stuff like that in Make-A-Wish, like certain, different things I was reading, different moms and things like that talking about, like, their son saying it and it kind of being like this confidence builder. Now, my question is, all of that aside, I wonder if he uses this in this new era, and if he does use it, the connotation it takes on. Because this whole time in these last 20 years, people were saying that this was never going to happen, right? And people have also said, and we've talked about it a few times on the program, like, John was probably a cutthroat for a lot of years. I think it was Jimmy Uso that said to him recently, you and Roman Reigns are exactly alike. You just do yours with a smile. And he was just like posturing, like, well, I got a certain image, I dress a certain way, and Cena, he doing his Cena shit. You know what I mean? And just thinking about like the Cena we saw at the end of the Rumble with the all blue on. Like I never seen, like, that's the thing, like the shades was kind of, it's like he got on all blue. It's like this like sad Cena. You know what I mean? And he like, I've given 20 something odd, years of service to this company, and I believe that I got to like it was different. You know what I mean? And talking about, I'm coming to Toronto and I'm gonna kick some ass. You know what I mean? And he had already spoke to the Toronto people, right? But even like the designs on those shirts, I really like the door. I really like the C that's like behind like the red circle with the slash through it. Really good shit by this company, man. It's fodder, right? But they made millions off of these shirts. But I would really like to see You Can't See Me take on a whole nother life. Like this whole time, y'all couldn't see me. I was a snake. This whole time, y'all couldn't really see who I was. I would just love that. Hey, yo, my bad.
Nah, just building on what you just said, I would even, because we was talking about stripping what you like about, I would even change that slightly for this run. You can see me. You can see all the greatness that I've done. You see me, I've been the GOAT for how many years? You see me with number 17 right here over my shoulder, XYZ. And just like, kidding me? Like he just becomes the most ego-inflated version of this character. You can see me.
I'm
bring the shit up to y'all, man.
I'm gonna piggyback off this.
Really saw me.
Hold on, I'm gonna piggyback off this. If you really think about it and you really dig into the career of John Cena, aside from children, he is the biggest heel WWE has ever had. If you really think about John Cena, his feuds, the people that he's interacted with, you know what I mean? Like, it's the old Mick Foley trope about what being a heel is. Like, a heel should always have the notion that they are right. Think about the way John Cena has maneuvered over the years. You know what I mean? Like, delusional, bro. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I just thought about the other catchphrase though that I had. I had got a good grade on this paper. It was Kurt Angle's 3 eyes when I was in the 3rd grade. Integrity, intelligence. What the up intensity? Intensity, yeah. I ain't know what none of that shit meant, but it was big ass words, and I put that shit in the paper, and I got a good grade on that shit. So
I'm gonna use that.
I did use that motherfucker. Yeah. 3rd grade. Shout out to Miss Black, man. Shout out to you, white lady.
Miss Black.
Yeah, she was solid.
But yeah. Definitely intrigued about Cena and where he's going. That was a great topic, man. Great topic.
Well said,
yeah, well said. Next. I'm gonna steal Nolo since he's been fired and talk about what he was gonna bring to the table. You know what I mean? I wish Mr. McKinney all best in his future endeavors. You know what I mean? If he no contract, he has no compete clause, so if he wants to join another podcast, he more than welcome to.
Yeah, man.
He knows what he did. But Barcelona, beautiful crowd on SmackDown. But the big thing, 4 years in the making, the Street Profits are the new WWE World Tag Team Champions. And it's a very significant thing, you know what I mean? Especially when we're talking about, like, last night, yeah, shout out to when Keeping It Real goes wrong, absolutely. What's up with you, Marks, man? What's going on, JT? But last night, and over the course of 2 nights, actually, like, tag team wrestling has been flourishing, right? Flourishing. Street Profits, they win the tag team championships. An excellent match between FTR, Undisputed Kingdom. You know what I mean? It was a great match. You're probably looking at a big tag team title match going into WrestleMania with the SmackDown contingent and everything like that. But the significance of the Street Profits winning, right? I think the last time they held gold was January 2021. Like, just think about where you were in life in the beginning of 2021. You know what I mean? Like, how things have changed. And if you look at that time, right, and from where they are, like, I'm pretty sure we were having conversations in 2021 where the Street Profits were gonna be at. You know what I mean? Like, people had already written off Angelo Dawkins. People had already prophesized world championship runs for Montez Ford.
People, nigga, you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You talk about people. Nigga, you, nigga. You talk about headbands and shit. Getting them the fuck out of here and all that shit.
I'm not even gonna lie, bro. I don't know what you're talking about.
It was a life behind the YouTube run when we was on all DSPs and you was like, fuck the headbands, nigga.
No. This is what happened, right? The reason why Dawkins cooks the way he does is because of BGW. I'm 100% positive. We did a space. I will never forget it because it was in the fall of 2021. We did a space where we talked about Dawkins as a wrestler and how probably he's not going to amount to nothing. And he was in the space. I remember. He was in the space. He never said anything, but he was in the space. And I swear to God, he did a tweet that was like, y'all going to stop doubting me. And guess what he did? That man started cooking. So the fact that you see Dawkins cooking the way he does, that's BGW. So you're welcome.
Yeah, okay. I see what you did, though.
Yeah.
What a motherfucking pivot.
Yeah,
motivation.
That was Hakeem the Dream pivot right there.
That's what I'm saying. Motivation.
Oh man.
Y'all will never forget that. That was also one of our first viral tweets was about Dawkins because everybody was like, yeah, he probably not gonna amount to much.
And then you said, my fucking beard.
He got on business.
Said, all right, say less.
Say less.
Watch me.
That man became a pro. That man embodied the spirit of Stu Hart and got active with it, bro. But like I said, with that being said, you could tell that their win on Friday genuinely meant something to both of them, right? And all jokes aside, you know what I mean, from myself, people that have made the joke and everything about where we wanted the Street Profits to go to. Yes, Montez Ford has all the potential in the world to be a world champion. He said this he has said this himself. But sometimes it's bigger than the championship. You got to remember, tag team wrestling, we're talking about people that literally go on the road together. They team together. They eat together. They wrestle together. You know what I mean? The reason why Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson are considered one of the best tag teams of all time, the Rock and Roll Express, is because they knew what they were going to do before any words had to be said. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes a great tag team. You know what I mean? It's your partnership inside the ring and outside the ring. We have watched a ebb and flow with the Street Profits. right? You know what I mean? When is it going to be their time? When is it going to stop? When is it going to slow down? The Bobby Lashley thing that fell apart, and then they just went into this purgatory. So we now get to where we're before Friday. It's like a renewed motivation. You can sense they're both equally getting frustrated with how things are going. You know what I mean? Yeah. You have the Motor City Machine Guns now coming in. You know what I mean? You have a reunited DIY. You got all these tag teams, but what about what we've been doing? We've been holding it down. We've been traveling up and down, going to press runs, doing, God, you know what I mean, match after match after match. So Friday being the opportunity for them to finally win the championships after 4 long years, I think says a lot about both of them as men and as a part, like a genuine tag team, where you have to put them in the slot of one of the greatest tag teams of all time. They could have easily given up. Montez could have easily been like, you know what, I'm ready to go do the singles thing. Dawkins could have been like, I'm ready to go do the singles thing. Both of them could have just given up. Like, we've taken the Street Profits as far as we go. Neither one of them want to do that at the moment because they believe in the vision of a tag as them as a tag team. So with that being said, I hope that their run on SmackDown is not just a one and done thing. I hope it's not just something that they pass the titles at Mania. You genuinely have something special with this run because it's rooted in a brotherhood, and that brotherhood could take that to who knows what. That could turn into a feud between the two of them later on. Who knows? Who cares? You know what I mean? Whatever happens, happens. But right now, we celebrate the Street Profits because they stuck to their guns and made something of it.
Mm-hmm.
Slick scared me though. What you about to say, Ayo?
Nah, I was just gonna say, like, to your point, like, what was that 4 years ago? It's taken 4 years for them to get back to this space, you know.
Mm-hmm.
For such a long time, you know, the conversation is like, when are they going to break up? What are they going to do? First of all, like, where's their actual consistent direction for them before we even figure out if they're staying together or not? Like, there was a time where they were with Lashley before he left. You know, look at like the different little versions of Lashley, and now you see what he's doing, and he's made his mark. That kind of got started, but never really was in full gear. There's been little hints at a hit. Well, B-Fab was a part for a while, but it just seemed like they didn't really know what they wanted to do with him, period. They're just there. When they show up, they're around, or they're just not there. But even when they're there, they don't really make so much of a difference, so you don't notice or miss, you know, them when they're not there. So for starters, I'm just happy that they actually have a direction. You know, we have to, at this point now, you have the belts. The easiest stories to tell is, what do they do to keep those titles? Who's gunning for them? You know, going into Mania, we always know there's those multi-man tag matches where there's 3 and 4 different tags, those clusterfuck matches. So I see no difference. Like, I think that's going to be the case. And hopefully coming out of Mania, they still have that. I think once we get out of Mania season and they still have those belts and they can really dive a little deeper into what these characters are supposed to be, and we get, you know, this version with their personalities, this is where they really start laying that foundation for, all right, GOATs now. You know what I mean? Because, you know, how are you able to play these roles and really make the tag team division like must see? You know, now people want to tune in to not only see what Fatu is doing and not only see what the latest in the bloodline, what's the Street Profits doing? Like, who's gunning for the Street Profits and what are they doing to hold on to those titles? If they're heels, are they trying to avoid those matches altogether? You know, and then at some point, you know, they're too likable of guys, I think, to be heels long term anyway. You know what I mean? So I think at some point they're going to turn the crowd back to him anyway. But at a very baseline, the check mark for me is like, all right, we have direction. We have something that we can finally like sink our teeth into related to the Street Profits, instead of them just kind of circling the bowl, so to speak. They were just doing nothing. You know what I mean? They were just around. And now that they have these titles, there's a good chance now that we have, you know, the next 6 months, let's say, maybe mapped out for them a little bit more.
Yeah. And what's concerning with me is that with the tag titles at SmackDown was almost like a round robin if you look at it, because Motor City Machine Guns, they got it their first time. They first match on SmackDown. Then shortly after, I don't know how many weeks was it, but it wasn't that long. The DIY got it. Now DIY, they didn't have a long reign with the title. Now the Street Profits got it. The only thing that will be beneficial to me with them having the titles if it was be something like a TLC match at WrestleMania with the main fixtures with the in the tag team division in SmackDown, but also with the Street Profits winning it and then having a meaningful program with the titles, because it just seemed like it's been like something touching, like it wasn't a real focal point with the tag team division as a whole in SmackDown or Raw, because shit, the Judgment Day had the titles for a little while. They had, for a long time, but they wasn't really a focal point. Now the War Raiders, they have it, but it's not really a focal point on Raw. It should be more of a storyline with it. They having good matches and meaningful spots on those two programs, but it's not really something that WWE's been having their main focal point on. And so that's what I need to have. Well, I'm sounding like an ungrateful fan, but that's what I want to have, something that's like a storyline leading up, like why are we having these matches, not just, okay, put them in there because they pissed off and they win the titles, but why? String it, like let's have a storyline behind it, WWE, and make it more meaningful, put some gold behind the dollar, and then we can have those, the moment be a little bit more meaningful. For us, it's meaningful because it's the Street Profits, but that's what I want to see.
I think we probably first get that moment though, Mac, when American Alpha get the titles on Raw. Hopefully we get a lot more there, because we kind of see what's going on with Chad, and if he's able to figure certain things out on that dark end. If those brothers, if they could find a way to beat the War Raiders, like I think it might be for some more interesting stuff when it comes to the tag team division on Raw, But my thing is this about the Street Profits, man. Like Angelo, I've been wanting to see like him just treat it better, be better, because that was a point in time in NXT, man, when I was in school.
Nasty.
You know what I mean?
Nasty word. And
but I really love this. And see, this is the thing, yo. And that's the thing, I think that some of our friends are right in the assessment. Like SmackDown is a really like interesting, fast-paced space for tag team wrestling on Friday nights. And what I kind of saw in person last week, with like, all of the tag teams at stake, like who won't go against who. And then coming into this week on, Euro week, seeing these guys win these titles in Spain the way that they won them meant a lot. And thinking about DIY, thinking about who DIY used to be a while ago, right? In Black and Gold and NXT, and like the wars that they've been through, right? And I think that DIY has had a lot of doubts when it comes to them as well. And this match being on this spot in the show was perfect. I even think that like the reactions from the crowd to both teams was amazing. I was loving the Uno Dos Tres shit all night. I was just loving the Spanish crowd. But for this match in particular, this is a really good tag team wrestling match on Friday Night SmackDown, right? And I think that like we need to kind of celebrate the significance of that. I really love the spots in this match. I mean, for one, Angelo was pretty much like the MVP of the match. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I mean, my guy Chaz played his part. He definitely played his part. He always gonna be him. You know what I mean? But I just feel like Angelo was just in like perfect spots in it, right? And I think that was a point in the match in which,
God damn it.
What's up? Hey, everybody.
Brother, what's going on, Nolo? Love you, Nolo. What's going on, brother?
How's everybody? Oh, my nigga left. Man, what's how you feel? Man, that's cool. That's cool.
Oh my god.
Everyone having a good time?
Yes,
Peace,
we were
Nolo.
talking about the
I'm
street
glad
topic.
you made it. I'm glad you made it safe.
Well, thank
Glad you
you.
made it
All
safe.
I'll
right.
put my
Yeah.
hate to the side because it seems like it's piling on. So I'm glad you made it safe.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate the nice, positive words. Hey, yo, it's a pleasure to see you. How you doing?
Pleasure to see you as well, my brother.
Hey, man, it's cool. Someone told me I got fired.
How you get fired on your way in?
I know, right? Shit crazy.
Like,
Thank you. Gerard, thank you. Appreciate you. My bad. I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just wanted to show up. That's all.
yeah, we were just talking about the Street Profits, man, from Friday night in Barcelona. And yeah, man, just a real good like match. I really think that depending on where this is going, and I really appreciated the vignette, the promo that the Street Profits put out the week before. I thought it was really well done. I really like the small comedy piece by Montez talking about D'Angelo's passion. You dig what I'm saying? But the interview afterwards with Kathy backstage was really dope too. Yeah, I mean, if y'all ain't see that exclusive, go to YouTube. You dig what I'm saying? But let's see what can happen, man. Like, I'm definitely not interested in the Street Profits dropping at WrestleMania. I really love, don't get me wrong, I really love the momentum of Pretty Deadly. I think that the former NXT champions 2-time are definitely in a beautiful spot right now. I mean, the reaction that they're getting, even going back to what we were saying about DIY, right? And wars that they've been through. You dig what I'm saying? Well, back in the day on NXT with Dash and Dawson and all that good shit. You know what I mean? Shout out FTR. But I think that Pretty Deadly has been through their fair share of wars too. And my question is to y'all, like, do we see the all out, like, you know what I mean, clusterfuck of tag teams, ladder match or whatever the fuck that we usually see on WrestleMania, or do we have a situation in which we get a good story between a one Pretty Deadly and Street Profits? We about like a month out from Mania. Can we build something there? Can we get a culture clash there? This is ABBA Dancing Queen versus Knuck If You Buck Crime Mob. You know what I mean? So what could we garner? What could we do? You do, and that's the thing. Pretty Deadly's new theme song sounds just like Dancing Queen. You know what I mean? It sounds just like it. Yes. So it's just like they have you know what I mean? Right now that like a lot of people are they feeling them. And it's like we haven't really had like a flamboyant like brand or a flamboyant like thing gimmick like in a minute. I think we had a one we had a lot of hopes for. But I think that in NXT also, you know what I mean? But, to get back to what we're talking about, I really hope we can see something really well and thought out built, you know what I mean, leading up to Mania between Pretty Deadly and the Profits.
I know I personally would love to see it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a really dope idea. Yeah. And I want to like actually have like a match at WrestleMania where it doesn't have to have 16 people in the match in a ladder for the tag team titles to get treated that way. Like, why not put some more emphasis on it? And they actually have like a story driven, like, even if we have Pretty Deadly, like they like people look at them like a joke anyway. So why not just like play into that and talk to them about how they're not gonna be like, they're not good enough. They can't do what the Street Profits can do. And then they can put on an amazing show on WrestleMania where the Street Profits will come out victorious so they can continue their dominant run that I want them to have and that they deserve after waiting